Hi everyone, are we live? Are we on? I think we might be. So today we are doing a bit of a festive live today. So we're with Terry Coldwell from E17. If you can't tell
Maybe if
by
you
the
can't
hoods.
go away. That looked quite good, that did.
So
Feel
yeah, if
like
you
the
can't
video.
tell by the coat already, so we've got a Christmas icon on himself today. So how are you, Terry?
I'm very good. How are you? You all right?
Yeah,
I'm
all good.
very good.
I thought this hood was a good idea, but I'm actually getting quite hot already. But I'll
Mate,
try to
I'm
keep
sweating in
it.
this. I'm sweating. I'm sweating.
So, I think if my maths is correct, which it might not be, it's 27 years coming up since that number one you had was Stay Another Day. Is
Yes,
that
it is.
right?
Yeah, wow.
Does it feel like
Wow,
that
that's a
long?
long time. That is a long time. 27 years. I think it's 30, yeah, I think it's 27 years. I think 30 years from the first song is next year. 30 years of E17, yeah, next year.
Whoa.
30
Did
years.
it,
I remember
did it,
looking back thinking Rolling Stones have been going for 30 years. Wow. Now it's me.
what's changed for you in that time then, would you say? What's changed since you first started out, since you got that number one?
What's changed? Well, the lineup's changed.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, the lineup's changed. What's changed for me? Not a lot really. I kind of see myself as always kind of kept my feet on the ground. I absolutely love I love being in the band. I love the job. Um, and yeah, I just I don't ever want to give up doing this. So it's kind of like, sorry, I've got to put this shit down. Oh
Yeah, I'm
man,
really hot and
I am
blinded as well.
proper sweating. Yeah. So yeah. Not a lot has really changed for me, apart from got wiser.
Yeah, well,
um,
we'd hope.
and
We'd,
yeah,
we'd hope that very, very,
just
very.
try and keep striving forward, really.
Yeah. And obviously, the number one, the festive stuff comes out. Does it get really busy for you every Christmas time? Is that when
Yes, it
like
does.
bookings ramp up? Does it just get really crazy then?
Yes, it does. Robbie in the band, he does all the bookings for E17. We manage E17, but he does the booking side, and yeah, he's very very good at it. So he knows a lot of promoters because he had the track with Craig David in the Artful Dodger. He had the hit in 2000. He already knew loads of promoters himself. So with the promoters that I knew and what he knew, we already had loads of people getting us work. So yeah, but Christmas time is amazing. We've got a few got cancelled due to COVID and the new strain, what they're talking about. But we've still got about 19 in December.
Oh, whoa!
I
I don't know if
know.
we've just about got that many days left. So that busy, busy for you then.
But trust me, by the end, man, you've got no voice left.
Oh, so
So
obviously next.
January, February are normally quite empty months anyway for most artists. So that's kind of the recovery time. We're going to write a new album in January, February. We're going to spend them 2 months writing a new album. The album we released a couple of months ago is just about to hit 1 million streams, and it's charted in a few different countries, which is great because we haven't really promoted it really. But yeah, it's really good. We're on a little boutique label called Selects Talk. We've built a great relationship with a guy, Scott, and it's kind of like climbing up. We're
That's
climbing
really
to the
good.
stars.
Yeah, love it.
Yeah,
I mean, as you mentioned, you have had a little bit of a change in lineup, but how do you think you've got to this one now? There's the three of you on stage,
brilliant.
looking dapper there. Yeah,
Thank
how's this
you.
one going?
Yeah, really, really good. There's it's hard when you get older because everyone's got their own opinion, and me, Robbie, and Joe, we're all on the same playing field, which
Yeah.
is fantastic. Joe comes into the band. He brings a different dynamic to the band now. He's he's a dancer. He's an actor. He's been in quite a few films. He's been in Harry Potter. He's been in Green Street. He's been in Dumbo. He's a stunt man as well, and he was on Sky's Got to Dance, the
Ah.
with his breakdancing squad that he was in, that he created, and they got to the finals. So he comes on stage, he does these amazing, and he's an ex-England British squad gymnast.
Oh,
So he was in the
imagine
English
his
team.
CV. His CV is going to be so long.
Like
There's so
his
much
CV,
stuff on
when
it.
people say, "Oh, can you write what Joe done?" I'm like, I've got to really break it down.
Yeah.
to shorthand. You know what I mean?
I gasped when you said about the Harry Potter thing. I was like, excuse me.
He actually had a big part in it, in one of the Harry Potters, and Robert Pattinson, you know Robert Pattinson,
Yeah,
who was in the vampire things. I forgot what
Twilight.
they're called now. But yeah, he took Joe's part in the next one. But yeah, Joe had quite a big part in it. But yeah, his friends were like Daniel Radcliffe and stuff, and you know, the people that are in his phone book. You think, by me, you know, he's really good friends with Ashley Banjo, and you know, they're really good friends. He literally went on tour with Ashley Banjo and Diversity in the early days, and yeah. But like I said, it just works, and I think when you've got the right energy, it just takes you higher. You know what I mean? You accomplish things. Don't get me wrong. There's been a lot of hard work involved as well. We've gone into dance studios again, and we've put time and effort into the band, and it's worked. Yeah,
and obviously you are the original member. You were the OG in the group.
I'm the OG.
So obviously from that 90s success, was that just like an overnight thing with you? How did you deal with, like, obviously you were probably on posters, on TV shows, magazines, like everything. So how did you deal with that?
To be fair, the first 3 years we was working 7 days a week. So, you know, you didn't really have a chance to, you're kind of in this bubble, not knowing really how big it's got. But when you start doing your world tours and you see the people that turn up to the arena shows and they're just there for you, that's when you think, wow, you think, God, this is incredible. But yeah, no, like I said, my dad kind of kept me grounded when I was a kid. I always worked. I had early morning paper round before school. After school, I was stacking shelves in a sweet shop. I had a Saturday job down Walthamstow Market on a fruit and veg stall. Come and get your oranges. And I worked on a fish and bacon stall down Walthamstow Market as well. And then on a Sunday, I worked down Lee Valley Market. On a woman's clothes stall, selling women's clothes. I was busy as a kid. I was very busy as a kid. But I think it kind of kept me grounded, you know?
Yeah.
It was, you know, I weren't spoilt or nothing like that. You know, obviously birthdays and Christmas, my mum and dad spoilt me, but I weren't one to, you know, be spoilt throughout the year or nothing like that. They're proper hard working class family.
You say about being grounded. Did you still manage to stay grounded when you had like millions of women screaming at you? Did that ever?
I did, to be fair.
Yeah.
I got grounded more as a kid than when I was in a band. No, it's. I always saw it as a job.
Yeah.
You know, and don't get me wrong. You know, there's been times in the band where we split up for a year or a couple of years, and you know, I would go and do a normal job again. You know, especially if I've got a family, if I've got kids to feed, that's the most important thing.
Yeah,
you know,
definitely.
The band thing ain't the most important thing. The kids, I love the band to bits. The band is my heart and soul. You know what I mean? But my kids are my most important thing. To feed them, make sure there's food on the table.
Yeah, of course. And we just had a question flash up, I think, from Sam H, if we can get that up. He said, have you ever had any crazy fan interactions, or like what was your weirdest one?
Yeah, mate, loads. Come on, what's it in 17? We had, I remember one time we was touring Germany and a fan had sneaked in through the luggage compartment of the tour coach, and we'd literally drove 300 miles and we came to the border. I can't remember what border it was, one of the borders in Germany. And the custom people came on a coach, had a look, went upstairs because no one was upstairs, and they opened up one of the bunk beds, and a fan was in the bunk bed. It sneaked in the luggage compartment and hid in one of the bunk beds.
Oh no!
And drew the curtains. So obviously she had to go. We had to give her some money to get a train back home because we was literally 300 miles. We drove like right away across Germany. Oh. And I thought that was quite funny. But even in Italy, we used to have like because they're moped mad over there. We used to have like 30, 40 people on mopeds chasing us in the van, and like make people chasing you in the van, running into lampposts, and oh mate, mate, crazy stuff.
That sounds like a bit scary, but hilarious at the same time.
Yeah. You felt sorry for them, but you had to laugh.
Yeah.
It was one of
Literally,
them
you were
ones, you know what I
comfy and safe on the tour bus, just like
mean?
waving at them. So obviously, with being a boy band, there's got to been some perks. I'm guessing there's been some good wild parties as well. Can you sort of think of like your wildest night out as the band? Did you ever get in any trouble for your antics or anything like that?
All the time. All the time. Yeah, we was always getting into fights and scuffles and people. Yeah, just just when you normally went out to clubs as a band when we was abroad, there'd always be a little bit of trouble. You know what I mean? Not really caused by us, just by other people in the club and stuff like that. But yeah, to be fair, we just like going out and having a good time, really, having a little dance and having a little drink. But yeah, like I said, sometimes there was a bit of trouble. Yeah.
But not caused by you.
Well, I don't think so. We might have been drunk, but no, not normally caused by us. No.
But obviously, you said you love being a band. You've been quite grounded. You've dealt with it quite well in like comparison to some like others. Has there been any low points with you? I know obviously you've been back together a lot, but obviously you seem to have kept quite, I guess, quite cool with it all, like in comparison. But what would you say the lowest bit has probably been for you?
I think there's a lot of pressure. It might have been different for me than being a lead singer like Tony and Brian at the time, because they had a lot of the attention. So yeah, I can't really speak for them, but I'm assuming people normally, lead singers of bands and stuff, they normally oh, sorry, something's going on here.
That's all right.
Have I lost? Hold on a minute. What's going on here? Something's come up. Sorry.
That's all right.
Well, here we go.
Still see you. There we go.
I'm back. Yeah, I'm assuming it. Different people take it different ways. I think when you're in the public eye, and for me, there has been some down points. I won't lie about that, definitely. But there's been points where I've been divorced and stuff like that. I lost a lot of money in divorces, and there's one time where I had to start literally from the beginning again and live at my mum and dad's and try and build things up for my life again. So there has been a few down points, but nothing major. I've always managed to kind of like get myself back on top with things. I've never upset anyone in the music industry, and it's true what they say: the people you meet on the way up, the people you meet on the way down. And no one's got a bad word to say about me, which is great. And I ain't got a bad word to say about anyone, really. And that's what's kind of helped me a bit this time, I think. With people, because they're like, do you know what, Terry? He's a cool guy. I'll help you. I'll do this and I'll do that, and just be nice to people. It doesn't hurt. You know what I mean? I advise anyone out there, don't be an arsehole. Just be nice to people. Be nice to people. It helps.
Yeah, and obviously with the first split of the band, that was kind of triggered by Brian with the drug confession when that all went out. Did you know that was going on behind the scenes, or were you all completely unaware?
No, to be fair, I remember we was at Top of the Pops and we was in the changing room, and Tom Watkins, our old manager, had his sister work for us because I think we was having a bit of a fallout with Tom, so he got his sister involved to give it a bit of a woman's touch type thing and try and control us a bit more. And I remember we had all this stuff laid out. Oh, you're doing a photo shoot here, and then at 3:00 you're doing an interview for so and so, blah blah blah. It was all set out, the day's schedule, and she just went up to Brian and she went, "Oh, I've got this interview for you to do quickly. Can you do it?" And Brian was like, "Oh, like it's not written down, Sally. Like we're already doing loads of stuff. It's only going to take you 10 minutes." And it was kind of like the interview was all about drugs, and people knew Brian would speak his mind in the 90s. Everyone accounts for their own actions, but if you're just trying to be truthful, sometimes it's not the best way all the time. Sometimes you've got to take a step back and think, hold on a minute.
Yeah.
But, I think Brian was only being truthful on how he felt when he was on them at the time. and I think it did get blown up out of proportion compared to what other people were saying at the time, like Oasis. But I don't know whether he was stitched up into it or what. To me, it seems like he was by the management, but I don't know. I don't know for sure. I can't say yes or no.
Do you ever hear from him?
Sorry for him. I remember driving around his house, and he had everyone there, and the news at 10, or he had the papers there. He had the news people there, and yeah, it was hard for him. It was hard for him.
Yeah. Do you ever stay in touch?
He was only young still as well.
Yeah. Well, you were also young, weren't you? That's the thing looking back now. Do you still ever stay in touch? Do you ever hear from him?
No, none of the original four talk. None of us talk. It's a shame, really. John left a few years ago. Yeah, John left probably 4 years ago now. Yeah, 4 years ago. He moved to Spain for a little while. I think he's moved back now, but he moved to Spain at the time. Yeah, Tony, the reason why I carried on going is because it was me, John, and Tony. I got Tony back in the band, and then we wrote an album. We didn't really promote it. We had a meeting with a label, and then the label went, Tony's bringing out an album next week, a solo album. I was like, what? Hold on a minute. Well, what's going on? What type of thing? Like, no one told me about this. Otherwise, I would have made plans.
Yeah.
And then kind of like the label had me and John on a retainer where they was giving us money each month. And then when Tony released his album, they stopped that. And I was like, I couldn't believe it, to be honest with you. Because I was like, I had kids and stuff. I was like, hold on a minute. It didn't seem fair, you know what I mean? So I was I managed, and I went, well, I'm carrying on with the band. Yeah. I went, if Tony don't want to do the band and he wants to go solo, he clearly don't want to do it. I'm going to carry on with it. And Robbie Craig was on the same booking agent as E17 at the time. And I said, I kind of was ringing Albert every day for 3 weeks, and he said, I think I've got someone here, Robbie Craig. And I DJ. I love garage music myself. I've been to Iron Apple and done the whole season out there playing for clubs. And I'd already had a couple of Robbie Craig's records, so I knew his vocal ability, and I was like, brilliant. Yeah, let me meet up with him. Met up, we clicked instantly, and here we are today. He's been in the band 9 years with me now. 9 years.
It's going strong. You're still at it, so you should be laughing. Did you see my face? I'm shocked that I thought at least some of you still spoke. I thought maybe like you and John were sort of
none of us in the four talk to each other. No one talks to no one.
Is that writes off any chance of a full comeback ever? Then I'm guessing.
Yeah. I don't think there will be a full comeback. Not now, to be honest with you.
No. Oh, well, you don't need it because you're doing well as it is.
Thank
you.
I
will mention another boy band that you were kind of rivals with at the time would Take That. So I know obviously that the 90s, the noughties, everything like loved and buzzed off the rivalries. But was it actually that legit off camera? Was it all just something you sort of played up to?
Do you know what? It was caused by the magazines, to be honest with you. You know, and we went along with it. I think Take That went along with it. I think one day we was in a shoot for like Just 17 or Smash Hits or something, and they said, "Oh, Take That said this," and we was like, "What?" And obviously we were we were the bad boys of pop, so we couldn't have that, you know what I mean? So we was like, "Will you say this back?" You know what I mean? And it kind of like back and forth. But when we met him, I met Robbie a few times, and Robbie was cool. I remember meeting Robbie, and we were staying in the same hotel, and he was walking down the corridor listening to Deep. And he was like, I love this track, guys. I love this track. I think Robbie wanted to be an E17, that would be failure.
Maybe you can get him in the band now.
I think he did. He would have kind of suited it, I think. But yeah, all the other guys, you know what? They're lovely guys. And as you get older, you've got to think, mate, they were as big as us. And the amount of work we done, like we were proper run down at times with the hours, not only just the hours, the days you're doing without a day off as well. So, I respect anyone out there, you know what I mean? Boyzone, Westlife, Take That, all the bands that were really big. Man, I know how much work got put into it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, sure. I think we're going to have some questions flashed up.
I'm going to put this hood back up. I feel Christmassy.
Have we got any questions we can flag? What was the hardest thing about being in a boy band in the 90s?
The hardest thing probably was all the work, really, to be honest with you. Like the hours, we was literally getting up 4s in the morning, finishing like sometimes 10, 11 at night. But yeah, but no, don't get me wrong. Do you know what? I loved all the time. I love what I'm doing now, but I did love what I was doing back then as well. I shared some great experiences with Brian, Tony, and John, and then now I'm sharing some great experiences with Robbie and Joe. I've enjoyed it all. I've embraced it all, and yeah, I ain't got a bad word really to say about all of it, because I've been to some fantastic countries. I've been to countries where I never ever thought I'd ever go. We actually got offered to do a gig in Ethiopia this year, but it got cancelled at the last minute due to COVID. But yeah, I wanted to go just to experience it. I was really looking forward to it, just to experience it, because I haven't been there.
I think I saw that, I don't know if Robbie said that there was like 60 cancellations or something, really like a high number that you had cancelled due to.
Yeah, we cancelled in lockdown. We cancelled 120 shows. Yeah.
God. Did that really sort of like set you back and like disappoint
you? It did, because I just moved into an house and got a big mortgage, and yeah, I literally done my house up because I had 120 shows in the books. I thought I'd do the whole house up. Done most of it up myself. Had some schoolmates coming who were tradesmen, and was kind of labouring for them the bits I couldn't do, trying to like save myself a bit of money. And yeah, I moved in, and literally 3 weeks later we went into lockdown. And I was like, and then they were saying on the news, it'll only be a couple of weeks, a year and a half later. So it was a bit tough. Yeah, it was a little bit tough.
But you're back. We're back. We got no more lockdowns. And
no more lockdowns. Come on, Boris.
I saw you guys are performing at, is it Bongo Bingos?
Bongo Bingos.
I went to one last week, and then I saw you guys are at one soon. I was like,
it got cancelled.
This one got cancelled.
Yeah, that one got cancelled. Yeah, we was gutted about that.
Oh, there's a
we love Elaine. Elaine puts them on. We're really good friends with Elaine. She puts them on. Yeah, that one got cancelled. I think they had to cancel about 7 or 8 of them in the end.
Well, we've got another question. So, what advice would you give to any boy bands or any musicians starting out in the industry?
Do you know what? They don't really need a lot of advice. I see now. A lot of them are kind of businessmen themselves. You know, they've learned a lot. It's a totally different game now, isn't it? With social media and streaming and stuff like that. It's all I'd say is have your wits about you. Be nice to everyone, because there's help for you. If you're nice to people, mate, they will help when times are hard. Be nice to everyone. Work hard. Hard. You've got to work hard, mate, because don't cancel things. Just mate, we'll go work ill. Obviously, not if we've got COVID, but we will literally go work ill in this band, and that's what it takes. Don't let people down. Enjoy what you do. Enjoy it. And the most important thing is enjoy it. If you don't enjoy it, don't be in the game. You know what I mean? Because enjoy it, embrace it. Be nice. Invest your money. And just be humble. You know what I mean?
Well, I think how you just described to be is what you are, Terry. So I feel like you're doing a good job.
You. Oh, no.
I was doing some research earlier, and what you just said about don't cancel things, turn up. You've got to show you're interested. I was reading that. I think that was why you wanted Brian to get out at one point, because he was cancelling, he was late, he weren't turning up. So that must be really important. If you're in a boy band, you need to all give it as much as the other one.
Yeah, that's the thing. If you're in a boy band, you've all got to be, like I said at the beginning, you've all got to be on the same page.
Yeah.
Because if one of you ain't on the same page, there's problems. There's problems, and it just gets worse and worse. The problems escalate and escalate. So, everyone's got to be on the same page to begin with if you're in a band. If you want to start a band, anyone out there, if you want to start a band, mate, start it. Just make sure you're all on the same page before it gets big. Because if you're not, it just won't work. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course. And I've seen a couple of stories. I was doing my research today. Obviously, Brian's had a bit of a rougher time. There's been some police involvement. Do you ever worry about him when you see any of the stories come up, or just sort of nothing?
No, I don't. To be honest with you, I haven't really seen to. I try and put my energy into what I'm doing at the moment.
Yeah.
But man, if he is having a tough time, you know, obviously, you know, that there are feelings there. You know what I mean? Because you know, we spent a good few years working together. But man, I just hope he can sort them out.
Yeah.
And he can move forward.
Yeah, definitely. Have we got any more questions we can flash up? I think we might have. Gary, are you going to re-release another version of Say Another Day? What I'm guessing is this with the three of you now?
Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes I think great songs, just leave them alone.
Yeah.
You know, 6 weeks at #1 is going to be quite hard to beat.
Yeah.
But who knows? Maybe not Stay Another Day, maybe a Christmas single.
Oh,
watch his space.
Exciting stuff. Maybe we'll try and get a second #1.
Mate, do you know, we've only just recently been discussing this, me and Robbie. So maybe. I'm not saying yes, I'm not saying no, but maybe. If it's good enough, when we record it and we think, do you know what, that's banging, that track, then we will. But it's got to be like, because of Stay Another Day is such an epic classic. It's got to be on par with that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. Have we got any more questions we can flash up on the screen? I think we have. It's going to put on. Here we go. How do you feel you were done if you started out in 2020? Oh, that's a good one. Times have definitely changed, as you said, massively since the 90s.
Yeah, there would have been a totally new strategy. Definitely, it would have been about getting the YouTube likes up and working on getting a fan base that way. Because labels aren't really signing like what they used to.
My light's gone down again, Terry. Sorry about this.
That's all right.
There we go.
Hey, back in the room. I think I love music. I've always loved music. I've got in the band as a dancer and a rapper to begin with. I kind of taught myself how to sing. I absolutely love music. So I think do you know, it's a hard one. It's a hard one. Just watching what other people are doing now, really, using the YouTube, using forms of social media,
bit more digital focus.
Because a lot of artists now that's where they're getting recognised and signed from.
Yeah.
So it'd be about probably using TikTok, all that, you know, putting up dance videos and doing all that, getting recognised. That's probably how I would probably try and do it.
Yeah,
in this day and age.
We've got a fully loaded question here. Tell us about what a night out looked like for you and the boys when you used to tour back in the day. Who was the drunkest? Who was the most likely to pull? And who broke the seal first? Well, answer that how you will, Terry.
Who was the drunkest when we went out? I think we all was, to be honest with you. I'd probably say me and John was probably the party animals. I'd probably say it was me and John.
Yeah.
But we was always getting drunk. John probably got kicked out a few more clubs than me, but I managed to get us back in. But not being too, just being drunk, really. You know what I mean? Not being like violent or nothing like that. Just being drunk. The parties are good. The parties were good.
Yeah, I mean, I bet they were.
Yeah, so very good.
How do you handle the admirers? Because you've still got a big fan base. People still go wild in the crowds. How do you handle all that attention still?
Do you know what? It's really nice now because we take time out to actually take photos and stuff now. We've just done a gig Monday, and done a gig on a Monday for ages. We've done a gig on Monday in Sheffield, and the guy said to us, the promoter went, do you know what? Perhaps we'll cut down the set to 2 songs because the crowd are around 18 years old, and if they don't know too many songs, they might get a bit like angry or whatever. So we went, all right, but if they do like us, we'll do more, yeah. And the boss of the club was like, yeah, of course. Anyway, it went mad in there. It went off. That they were loving it. It was honestly, it was crazy, and they were going mental. And the boss come back after. We ended up doing a few more tracks, and he come back to the dressing room, and he was like, man, like I weren't expecting that. You know what I mean? But you know, we take time out unless we've got to rush to another gig. We'll always take time out for the fans, take photos, sign autographs and stuff like that. I think it's important. It's important.
No, definitely.
Especially in this day and age, you know.
Yeah, yeah. We've got one last question, then I think we've got to wrap up because I've been talking to you for too long, Terry.
Brilliant.
But what advice would you give to your younger self?
To my younger self, be more wise with your money. When I was younger, be more wise with your money. Don't get married too many times. I love all my kids, but there's nothing bad to say about them. But yeah, just do you know what? I haven't got too much apart from, you know, should have been a bit more clever with my money back in the day. I was clever though, don't get me wrong, I was clever, but I just think I just went through the divorces and lost quite a lot of it. But yeah, no, I haven't got too much to say really about my younger self. I was quite humble, younger in the band, you know what I mean? It hasn't given me any harm as I'm older, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I mean,
I could say, oh, you should have been a bit louder, you know, with your voice, or you know, you should have been a bit more outspoken, but I might not be in this situation now if I was.
No, I mean, you're the OG left, so I think you've done quite well, Terry. But thanks so much for joining me today. So
you're welcome. Have a good Christmas, everyone.
New album coming out
one
soon.
Of the gigs.
Yeah.
Come down to one of the shows.
Yeah, I mean, I'm there. Thank you, Terry, and I hope that everyone listening enjoys all the E17 music. You'll be hearing it a lot in the lead up to Christmas, but brilliant. Thanks so much, everyone.
God bless.